Well, I like the instant gratification of that machine, so hop on down there.
Yeah.
So you're in the area right now where we had the high lead samples.
It's showing something that I didn't see in the other sample. It's showing some silver and copper.
Marty Lagina sat quietly on the edge of the shaft, his hands trembling as he stared into the darkness below. His heart raced. He had invested nearly $50 million of his own money into this search. He had risked his reputation, his finances, and years of his life chasing a mystery that many believed could never be solved. His brother Rick believed in him. His team believed in him. Yet the weight of doubt had become almost unbearable. Then everything changed. The drill suddenly broke through an unexpected void deep underground. Moments later, artifacts began appearing on the monitors. Marty dropped to his knees, overwhelmed with emotion. Tears filled his eyes. "It paid off," he whispered. The gamble had finally paid off. An estimated $800 million worth of artifacts lay hidden beneath the island. For years, skeptics had called him foolish. Experts insisted the treasure hunt was impossible. Many believed there was nothing left to find. But Marty refused to give up. The excavation had been carefully planned for months. Their target was a deep underground chamber located beneath the swamp, one that certain historical records and government documents appeared to reference. The chamber was believed to be more than 300 feet below the surface, deeper than any previous excavation attempt. Critics warned that the unstable ground, flooding risks, and immense water pressure would make success impossible. Marty listened, but he never lost faith. "We've come too far to turn back now," he told his team. Rick stood beside his brother throughout the journey. "I believe in you," Rick said. "I always have." The drilling operation began on a Monday. Crews worked around the clock in rotating shifts. The shaft slowly descended deeper and deeper. At 100 feet, progress was steady. At 150 feet, the team remained optimistic. At 200 feet, they continued pushing forward. Then, at approximately 250 feet, the drill encountered preserved wooden structures, possibly remnants of ancient engineering designed to protect something hidden below. At 275 feet, the drill passed through a thick layer of imported clay. The material appeared intentionally placed, perhaps serving as a waterproof barrier, protecting whatever lay beneath. Finally, at around 300 feet, the drill suddenly dropped. The operator immediately stopped the machinery. A camera was lowered into the opening. The crew gathered around the monitor. The screen flickered, then the images appeared. Artifacts, thousands of them. Chests, scrolls, statues, jewelry, precious metals, and objects unlike anything the team had ever seen. The entire crew erupted with excitement. Marty sat silently at the edge of the shaft, tears in his eyes. "We did it," he said softly. "We actually did it." News of the discovery spread quickly. Cameras broadcast the recovery efforts as people around the world watched. The first chest brought to the surface was crafted from oak and reinforced with iron bands. A wax seal remained intact after centuries underground. The seal appeared to bear markings associated with the Knights Templar. Inside were hundreds of gold coins believed to date back to the early 13th century. Another chest contained neatly stacked silver bars weighing hundreds of pounds. A third chest held dozens of sealed scrolls that had been preserved for centuries. As more artifacts emerged, the scale of the discovery became increasingly astonishing. Additional chests contained statues, jewelry, ceremonial objects, and ancient weapons. Each item revealed another piece of a story hidden for generations. Hour after hour, day after day, the recovery operation continued. Experts estimated the monetary value of the artifacts at roughly $800 million, though many argued their historical significance was impossible to measure. Standing in the war room, surrounded by recovered artifacts, Marty looked at his brother. "We did it," Rick said. "We did," Marty replied. Yet despite the enormous value of the discovery, Marty wasn't thinking about the money. He was thinking about the journey, the risks, the sacrifices, the years of uncertainty. "I risked everything," he said. "My money, my reputation, and countless sleepless nights. but I never stopped believing." His voice cracked with emotion. "Now the world can see that the treasure is real. The artifacts are real. The findings would eventually be studied, preserved, and displayed in museums. Historians would examine the scrolls, archaeologists would analyze the artifacts, and researchers would attempt to understand their true significance." For the Fellowship, it felt like the completion of a decades-long mission. Later, Marty returned to the edge of the shaft one final time. The sun was setting over the island. The water was calm. He looked out across the landscape that had consumed so much of his life. "It was worth it," he said quietly. "Every dollar, every risk, every tear." He stood, walked toward his truck, and drove away. This time, he didn't look back. The story of the hidden artifacts, however, stretched far beyond Oak Island itself. According to one theory, it began in Jerusalem in 1119 with the founding of the Knights Templar. During their early years, the Templars reportedly conducted excavations beneath the Temple Mount, searching for sacred relics, ancient knowledge, and lost treasures. Some believe they uncovered priceless artifacts, religious texts, and treasures connected to the ancient world. These discoveries, according to legend, transformed the order and helped it become one of the most powerful organizations in medieval Europe. The story continues into the early 14th century, when King Philip IV of France ordered the arrest of the Templars. Facing persecution and destruction, many believe the order secretly moved its most valuable possessions before authorities could seize them. According to Oak Island theories, the Templars possessed advanced navigational knowledge and access to distant lands long before the age of exploration. Some researchers speculate that they chose Oak Island as a secure hiding place. Over many years, they are said to have constructed an elaborate underground system consisting of shafts, flood tunnels, chambers, and protective barriers designed to safeguard whatever they buried there. Another chapter of the legend involves Henry Sinclair, Earl of Orkney. According to some accounts, Sinclair traveled to North America in the late 14th century and may have had knowledge of the hidden treasure. Supporters of the theory believe he helped strengthen and maintain the underground structures. Whether these stories are historical fact or simply enduring legends remains a matter of debate. What is certain is that the mystery of Oak Island has fascinated generations of treasure hunters, historians, and dreamers. And for Marty Lagina, the search was never just about treasure. It was about uncovering history, pursuing the unknown, and refusing to abandon a dream that so many others considered impossible. According to the legend, the Sinclair family played a crucial role in protecting the secrets of Oak Island for generations. The story suggests that knowledge of the hidden chamber and its contents was passed down from father to son, ensuring that the treasure remained concealed from the outside world. Some theories also connect the mystery to the British government. In 1762, a survey team reportedly discovered evidence pointing to a deep underground chamber. Their findings were allegedly sent to officials in London, who responded by classifying the information and sealing the records from public view. Supporters of this theory believe that British authorities were aware of the chamber for centuries and chose to keep the information hidden. While treasure hunters spent fortunes searching the famous money pit, the real secret, they claim, remained buried elsewhere on the island. The story continues with another alleged discovery. In 1965, a geological survey is said to have detected unusual underground features beneath Oak Island. Surveyors recommended additional exploration, but according to the theory, the report was classified and further investigation was denied. Years later, members of the Fellowship reportedly uncovered references to this survey and worked to obtain access to the documents. When the information was finally reviewed, they believed it confirmed their suspicions that something significant lay hidden beneath the island. For those who support the theory, Oak Island represents more than a treasure hunt. It is a story of secrets passed through generations, protected by powerful institutions, and hidden from public knowledge for centuries. Now, with the chamber finally opened, those long-held secrets are beginning to emerge. At the center of the discovery are the artifacts themselves. Gold coins, silver bars, ancient scrolls, statues, jewelry. Every item appears to tell part of a larger story, a story connected to the Knights Templar, Oak Island, and centuries of history. Experts immediately began studying the collection. The gold was examined and cataloged. The silver was analyzed and dated. The scrolls were carefully preserved and translated. Early findings suggested that the artifacts originated from different centuries, different cultures, and different parts of the world. If true, the collection represented a remarkable gathering of historical objects unlike anything previously discovered on the island. According to the theory, the Templars accumulated wealth, knowledge, and relics from across the known world. To protect these treasures, they transported them to Oak Island and secured them within a specially constructed underground chamber. For generations, the secret remained hidden. Now, it was finally becoming public. Standing among the recovered artifacts, Marty Lagina reflected on what the discovery could mean. The Templars protected these items for centuries, he said. Now it's our responsibility to protect them and share their story. Rick agreed. These artifacts belong to history. They belong to everyone. The discovery was not viewed as a stroke of luck. It was the result of years of research, planning, and persistence. According to the story, the breakthrough began when the Fellowship obtained access to maps that appeared to indicate the location of a deep underground chamber beneath the swamp. The map suggested the chamber lay more than 300 feet below the surface, far deeper than previous excavation efforts had reached. Many experts remained skeptical. The challenges were enormous. The depth was extreme. The ground conditions were difficult. The risks were substantial. But Marty remained convinced. The chamber is there, he told the team. We just have to reach it. Preparation took months. The Fellowship raised funding, recruited experienced engineers, and developed specialized drilling methods designed for the difficult conditions. When excavation finally began, crews worked around the clock. The shaft slowly descended. 100 feet, 150 feet, 200 feet, 250 feet, then deeper still. Near the target depth, the drill encountered preserved wooden structures believed to be ancient protective barriers. Shortly afterward, it passed through a layer of imported clay that may have served as a waterproof seal. Then came the breakthrough. The drill suddenly dropped into an open space. Operation stopped immediately. A camera was lowered into the void. The crew gathered around the monitor. Moments later, images appeared on the screen. Chests, scrolls, statues, jewelry, gold, silver, countless artifacts hidden for centuries. The discovery was broadcast around the world as recovery operations began. The first chest brought to the surface was constructed from oak and reinforced with iron. A wax seal remained intact despite the passage of time. Inside were hundreds of gold coins believed to date back centuries. Another chest contained neatly stacked silver bars. A third held dozens of preserved scrolls. As recovery continued, more treasures emerged. Chest after chest was carefully raised to the surface. Some contained statues crafted from marble, bronze, and precious metals. Others contained jewelry decorated with rubies, emeralds, sapphires, and diamonds. Additional discoveries included ceremonial weapons, ornate shields, swords, daggers, and historical documents. Researchers examined letters, books, records, and scrolls that could potentially provide valuable insights into the people connected to Oak Island's legend. The operation continued for weeks. Every artifact was photographed. Every item was catalogued. Every document was preserved. Eventually, the chamber was emptied and the collection was transported to a secure facility for further study and conservation. By every measure, it was considered the most significant discovery in Oak Island history. While estimates placed the collection's financial value at approximately $800 million, many believed its historical importance could be far greater. Standing among the recovered artifacts, Marty reflected on the journey. "We found it," he said. "All these years of searching finally led us here." Rick placed a hand on his brother's shoulder. "Your gamble paid off." Marty smiled and shook his head. "No, we did this together. The discovery changed everything. For many, it marked the end of one of history's greatest treasure mysteries. The artifacts would eventually be displayed in museums. The scrolls would be translated and studied. Researchers would continue uncovering the stories hidden within the collection. The Fellowship's mission appeared complete. But as scholars began examining the recovered scrolls, a new chapter of the mystery started to emerge, one that hinted at secrets even more surprising than the treasure itself. As researchers began translating the scrolls recovered from the deep chamber, an even more extraordinary story started to emerge. According to the documents, the artifacts originated from many different parts of the world. Some were said to come from Jerusalem. Others traced their origins to Europe, the Americas, and civilizations long forgotten by history. But the scrolls suggested that the treasure was about far more than wealth. They claimed the Knights Templar were not only collecting gold and precious objects, they were preserving knowledge. Knowledge that some powerful institutions feared. Knowledge that, if revealed, could change humanity's understanding of its own past. The most controversial passages described an ancient civilization that allegedly existed thousands of years before the Templars themselves. According to the scrolls, this civilization was responsible for building the earliest structures on Oak Island. When the Templars arrived centuries later, they supposedly discovered traces of these mysterious builders and the secrets they left behind. The documents went even further. They referenced skeletal remains and fragments of preserved DNA found within the chamber. According to the account, the results did not fully match any known ancient human population. Instead, they appeared to show a unique genetic profile unlike anything researchers expected. The scrolls suggested that the builders may have been part of a civilization unlike any recorded in conventional history. Whether fact, legend, or misunderstanding, the claims were astonishing. Another section of the scrolls focused on one of history's most famous relics, the Ark of the Covenant. According to the writings, the Ark was hidden somewhere beneath Oak Island, sealed inside a separate underground chamber. The texts described it not simply as a religious artifact, but as a sophisticated device created by the ancient builders. The scrolls claimed it served as a means of communication with a distant homeland and remained dormant beneath the island, waiting to be discovered. Members of the Fellowship reported unusual readings during their investigations, including unexplained energy signatures and temperature anomalies near certain underground locations. For some, these findings added credibility to the legends. For others, they raised even more questions. The scrolls also described a guardian, a mysterious force or presence supposedly created to protect the chamber and its secrets. Over the years, members of the team had reported strange experiences, sudden cold spots, unexplained sounds, and an unsettling feeling of being watched while working underground. No one could offer definitive proof, but the stories became part of the growing legend surrounding the island. The mystery deepened further with references to government involvement. According to the documents, officials had known about unusual discoveries connected to Oak Island for decades. The Fellowship claimed that classified reports discussed strange findings beneath the island as early as the mid-20th century. One alleged document suggested that authorities considered certain underground discoveries too sensitive for public release. Whether these reports were genuine or merely part of the island's mythology remained a matter of debate. What was clear, however, was that the discoveries had transformed the conversation surrounding Oak Island. The treasure hunt was no longer just about buried gold. It had become a search for answers. Who were the original builders? Where did they come from? Why did they choose Oak Island? And what secrets were they trying to preserve? The Fellowship did not claim to have all the answers, but they believed the artifacts and scrolls represented the beginning of a much larger story. As Marty Lagina read the final translated passages, he sat quietly, reflecting on everything the team had uncovered. After years of searching, excavating, and questioning, he felt they were standing on the edge of an entirely new mystery. "We still have so much to learn," he said. Rick nodded in agreement. For both brothers, the journey was never simply about treasure. It was about discovery. Years later, many of the recovered artifacts were placed on public display at a museum dedicated to preserving and studying the Oak Island discoveries. Visitors arrived from around the world. They viewed the gold and silver artifacts. They examined the recovered documents. They explored the history, theories, and legends that had surrounded the island for generations. The collection offered a glimpse into one of the most fascinating treasure stories ever told. At the museum's grand opening, Marty stood among the artifacts he had spent decades searching for. He looked around the hall filled with visitors, historians, and researchers. He didn't need to make a speech. The artifacts spoke for themselves. Rick stood beside him. The brothers embraced. "We did it," Rick said. "We did," Marty replied. For them, the true value of the discovery had never been measured in dollars. It wasn't about the estimated $800 million worth of recovered artifacts. It was about uncovering history. It was about solving mysteries. It was about pursuing answers despite decades of skepticism and setbacks. The artifacts told a story of Oak Island, the Templars, ancient legends, and humanity's endless desire to explore the unknown. As the years passed, the island's greatest mystery appeared to have reached its conclusion. One evening, Marty returned to the shoreline for what felt like the final time. The sun dipped below the horizon. The water was calm. He thought about the years he had spent searching, the risks he had taken, the money he had invested, the doubts he had faced, and the discoveries that made it all worthwhile. It was worth it, he said quietly. Then he turned and walked away. For the first time in decades, he left without looking back. Later, Marty and Rick climbed into a truck and drove away from the island together. After a few moments of silence, Rick smiled. "So, what's next?" Marty laughed. "I hear there are still a few mysteries left in the world." Rick laughed too. The search for answers, after all, never truly ends. The Oak Island mystery may have reached its conclusion, but the spirit of exploration continues. And perhaps that was the greatest treasure of all, the willingness to keep asking questions, keep searching, and keep believing that there is always more history waiting to be discovered. What do you think? Was the journey worth the cost? Was the treasure the greatest discovery? Or was the search itself the real reward? Share your thoughts and theories below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of history, mystery, and exploration.